What is up, guys? Tony here with Geekly Games, and today, for our first BT-13 deck profile, why not talk about the best deck that's actually out there? Let's be honest with you. It's ShineGreymon. It's because of this Tamer. Really, this card itself just facilitates the entire deck just for climbing up for free and just closing out games really quick with burst mode right here. Or if you need to stall the game just one more extra turn, we got ruin mode right here to just to put a bad taste in your opponent's mouth. Don't disregard this. We have some cards in here that you can also play in as well, which we'll talk to at the end of the video. But before we talk anything about this, really, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and don't forget to check our pro site at www.geeklegiongames.com for our Digimon singles that are BT-13 related coming this Friday, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, and Pokemon. Without further ado, let's just talk about our eggs. So we got the red base here. Red base, in my opinion, is the best one. Second best would be the yellow Cormons, which we'll talk about later. This guy is just basically when attacking with any of your Greymons, just go ahead and draw a card, which is basically, cut and dry. Next up, starting with the rookies, we got our Agumons right here for BT-12. On play, real top four cards, and hopefully you pull 2 cards with it, with Greymon in name and Marcus Damon. Then an 8 inheritable that is also tied within the other GeoGreymon from the BT-12 set. When one of your Tamers is suspended, you go ahead and give minus 2,000 DP to your opponent's Digimon. If you're able to stack that up with the yellow egg, if you wanted to play that and this in GeoGrey, you could put negative 5,000 on some, just getting them low enough for other inheritables here that we have, our Agumons and GeoGreymons, to go ahead and delete the Digimon. Up next, we got our Agumon X Antibody. Play this as a 3 or 4 of. Those numbers are pretty much okay. You can fluctuate the numbers. It's going to be when Digivolving on top of an Agumon or just hard playing it for 3. Build top 3 cards of your deck, and you're just going to pull a Greymon. No Omnimons or X Antibodies included in this deck, because we just don't need those cards. Up next, Agumon right here from the new set BT-13. Main phase, you can just summon out a Marcus and just win the game. I had Davis just hard play this for 3, and he only needed 1 more swing in. He needed to somehow make a Digimon happen, and he just played this for 3. Summoned Marcus, got game. It happens. Neat inheritable, and also with a new GeoGreymon, as one of your Tamers is suspended, you can go ahead and delete a 3,000 DP or less Digimon on this side of the field, which is really good. And then lastly for Agumon, just running a low number of these guys, but again, you can tailor the numbers however you like it. Starting in main phase, if you have a red Tamer or yellow Tamer in play, you can go ahead and gain a memory. And then if one of your Tamers is suspended as red and yellow, you go ahead and draw a card. Excuse me. Reason why we're playing a low number of these and somewhat a high number of this is because, normally if you're not playing anything blue related like the Mirage Gargo, this is the kind of like lineup you want. But if your entire store is flooded with those type of cards, you're going to have to gut this out, but which we'll talk about when we get down to the end of the video to what to replace with those. You'll still keep the Agumon because you just need a good Agumon. Up next, Broken GeoGreymon here. When Digivolving, search your security for red or yellow Tamer, and you go ahead and play it for free, which is... When I played this about like 12 games in a row, about 2 of those times was the only time I didn't find anything. And I mean, it could be just RNG luck, but it feels really good looking at your security and you just see like good cards in there, like Tamers and all that to pull out and recover one. Then the same inheritables are Agumon we talked about before, BT-13, you can delete some 3k or less. This GeoGreymon here is basically a bumped up version of Agumon, so we're not really going to talk about this guy right here. But we'll talk about this GeoGreymon right here. When Digivolving, if you don't have a Marcus in play, you can play one out for free. If it's awkward when you're on the turn 1, you go in this draw, go into this draw, and you have a Tamer in your hand. You don't have this on the field, kind of feels bad, so you just have to hard play a Tamer out. So this card can be awkward at times, but other times it can come in clutch. Then it has the same inheritable as the BT-12 Agumon here. If you're one of your Tamers suspended, you go ahead and get negative 2,000. Up next for our Rise Greymon lineups, we're only playing the really good ones, but we'll talk about the other possibility ones at the end of the video. When Digivolving, if you have a Tamer in play, you essentially Evo for 2, which is really, really good for going up to level 5. And all turns, same as an inheritable, when one of your Tamers is deleted, you can play a Marcus from trash on top of your security. Very nice, you can just swing with these, let it die, and go right back up, and your opponent's going to hit the, security. And yeah, just hit this again, and you just keep looping. This guy does the exact same thing with all turns, both inheritable and face value, except when Digivolving with this guy for 3, you're going ahead just going to play out a Marcus right out the bat. If you want to still play with the yellow ones, which is down here at the end of the video as well, you can go ahead and play with those, but that will require you for an inheritable to get +1 security if you have 3 Tamers out in the field, which you can pull off, but it sometimes can be hard. Up next for the other Rise Greymon X Antibody. the next best thing on the list. You want to play this at a low side. You don't want to play too many of these guys, because more often than not, if you play more copies of this will be the level 5 you have in hand and not the other ShineGreymons. So you want to Digivolve for 1 on top of a Rise to play out a Tamer. You'll play this no matter what, even if you just Evo it for a hard 4. However, if you have it on a ShineGreymon, you can go ahead and negative 2,000 one of your opponent's Digimon for every Tamer you have in your field, effectively just making them weaker, tap a Tamer in response, and then delete the Digimon with all your other inheritables. And then, excuse me again. For Rayquaza, I love this as a sub level 6, is because for each of your Tamers, this gets plus 1,000. So if you have like 3 or 4 Tamers on the field, this guy's just big. He can even sometimes ride over a suspended level 6, and that kind of feels bad for your opponent. Feels good for you though. Up next for a ShineGreymon, I'm running this as a 3. You can run this as a 2 as well, in response to this ShineGreymon who's completely... It doesn't matter which ratio. If you have this at 2, this is 3, the deck pretty much runs the same thing. But I'm a little more on the aggressive side, so I like just having to see this just a wee bit more. But choose your pickings. When Digivolving for each yellow or red Tamer you have in play, one of your opponent's Digimon and all your opponent's security Digimon get negative 3,000, which is really big. Helps out when your inheritables more, just make sure like their big stack gets, nerfed down pretty good. If you have 3 Tamers going into this, there's basically like no reason why your Marcuses don't they just survive every check they do, unless they hit some even bigger than what original DP was. So, but they're gonna get plus 1 security and plus 3,000, so that makes it nice. This ShineGreymon here, you get a start turn or just when Digivolving one of your Marcus Daemons as doesn't matter. You have to activate this effect if you have a Marcus Daemon out. It's going to become a 3,000 DP Digimon. Can't Digivolve, and it will gain Blocker into the end of your opponent's turn. So do keep in mind that if you do swing at the Marcus, reluctantly you're going to put it back in your Tamer Zone area, but it'll still be a Digimon, so your opponent actually has access to swing into that if they're able to. So just keep that in mind. But you have an all turns effect here too. When one of your Tamers is suspended, you can go ahead and give negative 6,000 to somebody, which pairs very nice with this Marcus Daemon right here, where you can just on play tap this guy, get negative 3,000 summon, and this will give negative 6,000, making it 9,000 total, which is really, really good. And then speaking of really, really good, this card is just busted. We got a ShineGrey Burst mode. You can burst for 0 by returning a Tamer from your play area to your hand, but then you have to trash the top card here. And then has a when Digivolving, either you do the burst for 0, hard Digivolve it for 5, or you can get this Marcus Daemon to go up to it for free. You'll be able to play one Marcus from your hand without paying the cost. That Tamer will gain 12,000 DP, rush, and can't Digivolve, obviously, till the end of your turn. And then when that Tamer is suspended, because more likely or not you're going to be swinging at that Tamer, you can go ahead and burn one of your opponent's security stack, which is really, really good for ending the game with this guy. And if you can't finish the game, you need one more turn. You got Ruin mode right here as a 1 of. You don't really need this as a 2 of anymore. You're pretty aggro as it is. Just sometimes you get a little slow, and this guy can help you get you back in the game. By when Digivolving on deletion, 10 your opponent's turn, all your opponent's Digimon get negative 5,000. If you're able to climb into this for free, or Digivolve it for 4 on your ShineGreymon and still keep your turn, just swing with this, get an end of attack, delete this Digimon, put another negative 5,000, making total 10. Deleting one of their other Digimon that would survive that debuff, and recover 1, and then obviously you'll have a Tamer in play, hopefully, and you go and hatch an egg, which is really, really good. You put a nice time walk on your opponent for negative 10,000 on the field, and just, literally just, it spells end of game, pretty much. They won't be able to do anything. They can't get on-play effects of their Digimon unless they survive negative 10,000, which if they're going to be on-playing their stuff, it's going to be Royal Knights. This can do really good with Royal Knights. Down here below, if you're running against Royal Knights, the combination with this card right here, you would need to go into this card right here to effectively delete the rest of them, which you can do that, but we'll talk about that later. Up next, we got the Broken Marcus Daemon here, which I speculate come this Friday when this guy's come out. I'm going to give it like 2 to 3 weeks before this guy gets limited to 1 to all formats. It's already an Ultimate Cup. It's a 1-up for a good reason, because this card is just cracked out of its mind. You can pay 1 memory to make a 3,000 DP Digimon, swing with it, and one of your Digimon can Digivolve into a yellow card with Greymon's name for free. It's like, you can climb up as much as you can from level 4 to level 5. When you're at 1 or 0 memory, you can just swing with X of these, and then just infinitely climb up to a level 7, one of these guys here too, and just, just ruin your opponent's time, making it not fun, but hella fun for you. And then we got this Marcus right here.
as our memory resetter. On play, you can tap this Tamer, and if you do so all turns, no matter your turn or your opponent's turn, this Tamer's when this Tamer is suspended, one of your opponent's Digimon gets negative 3,000 for the turn. Then if you have Agumon and Greymon in the field, you can go ahead and gain a memory. The only way your opponent can negate this gain memory if this happens to be a Digimon through this ShineGreymon's effect as blocker, and you go to block something, you give negative 3,000 something, if they have an additional memory blocker, you will not be able to gain that memory. So just letting you know that, because even though it's still a Tamer, it is now a Digimon, which floodgates negate Digimon gaining memory effects. So just keep that in mind. Up next, we got 2 yellow mem boosts right here. This could be any option card you want it to be. I personally want this to be yellow memory boost because I like searching. Searching is key. If you're able to do more searching than your opponent to find your pieces faster, you're already in a better spot. And also, too, this can find my ruin modes in the late game. If I know my security is low, I know it's definitely not in there. If I recover like maybe once or twice with GeoGrey, it's definitely in the deck. I'm definitely going to play this to try to thin it out to try to find this card. Or burst mode, one of the two, any of these level 7s. And just win the game with one of these cards. And then lastly, for our option, we got Sunrise Buster. If I could play this at a 4, I definitely would. Yellow Memory Boost wouldn't even exist. And for 5 memory, I can go ahead and play a Tamer out for free that's red or yellow and give negative 3,000 to one of their Digimon for every Tamer I have in play. This was cracked out when BT-10 was out for Crossheart, and then they got it nerfed down because Japan was finally getting to Rise, and or speculated it would be busted with this card, with this deck that we have coming out this Friday. So, yep, it's at a 1. But that is the deck. We do have a couple, honorable mentions right here, like the yellow Coromon we were talking about here. If you want to be more on the control side, you can definitely run this egg here. You may have to run the ratios with your red Agumon X antibodies, because if you have it in hand, and it's the only rookie start of your turn or even drawing, you just draw another rookie and it's full red, you will now be able to Digiball on top of this egg, which kind of feels bad, but at least you get to play it out for 3 and do a little search, but you want to be building in the back, kind of. Then we have this red Coromon egg. You can for the mirror match when you're going to swing into their Digimon, but already you're going to be doing a bunch of negative DP effects. So if anything, if it's not that, and you need to be just a wee bit stronger going against, like, I don't know, Black War Greymon or War Greymon, whatever, this can definitely help. But other than that, the other red Coromon egg is just infinitely better than this, but you can play this if you want to. GeoGreymon's right here. If you're going against a bunch of Mirage Gargo matchups, you're going to go ahead and get rid of the GeoGreymons that give you draw effects right here, and you're going to play this instead. They're going to have jamming, sure, but on play you get to play this out and go ahead and delete them. So you'll get a free Digimon, which will be able to free climb with your mini Marcuses, especially this Marcus right here. You can just close the game out like that while you have a free Digimon out. This Rise Greymon out here, you can definitely play. It is also part yellow. Attacking Harable is really well, it's not to say it's not mediocre, but if you're able to abuse this by restanding your Digimon, whatever we get, whatever, I would definitely play this. You can Digiburst too, so if you can do this twice if you have a full 4 stack, and from like starting with the egg, and you can play out 2 Tamers with this. Is pretty good. You would play out, like, if you have these 2 Tamers, give negative 6,000. That would be a cute combo you can do. I could see this as a 1 of in the future, or possibly a 3 of, or a 4 maybe. I have no idea, but that's totally up to you. Then we have this Rise Greymon right here. No reason why most people are not playing this, but if you want to, that's completely fine. You're probably trying to play for the Inheritable right here to make your main stack do more damage against your opponent. But if you're trying to play out like these Marcus Daemons, you're never going to get that on-play effect, so it's kind of mid. And then we just talked about this guy a little bit here. You can, like, probably take one of these guys out to fit this in as a little toolbox card. By suspending all your Tamers, you can activate this effect once. Well, not once, but multiple times. Give negative 4,000 to each of your opponent's Digimon for every Tamer you have that's suspended by this effect. And then you get plus 1,000 for every Tamer you have, which could be a little bit bigger than your other ShineGreymons. When Marcus gets down to 1, this is going to be its replacements. This is why this is here. It's also a memory Tamers. If you have this and this other Marcus here, it kind of just does nothing with that. But you'll be able to gain memory if you have multiple of these out by just swinging with a Digimon with Greymon in name. And then lastly, we have our options right here. I'm not a fan of Final Shining Burst. People play it. This would be a security bomb. If you ever draw this, it would be just a dead card because you'll pay 8 memory to hopefully kill it and then just play a Marcus out, where you can also just play for 5, which is far less. And
And anytime we get a go wide matchup, I'll be putting this in. But right now, it's kind of like single stack, and the only really go wide is Royal Knights when they play Omnimon. They're doing that. They're basically half game, and this card won't be able to do a thing. And yeah, that's basically it. That also plays out on Marcus. But yeah, this is the deck profile. It gets subject to change, but this is my final core build. Let me know your thoughts, comments below. What would be changed, at all? I mean, I think this is pretty solid. If you don't like ShineGreymon here, you can run Death X if you want to, whatever, that could be in there as well, or just another copy of Shine Burst Mode. It's completely up to you if you like this card or not, or even have it, or if you have multiple copies of this. But be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys